Tune in for Patrick Ching's Painting in Paradise.
Aloha, I'm Patrick Ching, and thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. This episode features the Hawaiian Stilt known as Ae'o and comes to us from Timbers Kaua. Timbers is a resort community with a vast network of lagoons and waterways that are home to all species of native Hawaiian waterbirds. We'll take a wildlife tour with Silva, a former biology tech with the Department of Forestry and Wildlife with 30 years of service. We'll see birds including the Hawaiian ducks called koloa, coots called Ae'o, gallinules called Ae'o, herons called Aoku'u, and the long-legged Hawaiian stilts called Ae'o. I'll show you how to draw the Ae'o and then how to paint it. Finally, we'll join in on an Ae'o painting class for the staff and owners at Timbers. Enjoy all this and more on a long-legged episode of Painting in Paradise! When we return, we'll take a wildlife tour of Timbers with naturalist Silva. Leading the wildlife tours at Timbers is Silva.
This area is really safe for them.
Al retired after 30 years of service as a biology tech for the Division of Forestry and Wildlife.
Aloha, I'm Al Silva. I do the wildlife tours here at Timbers. We get to see 5-6 different endangered species. We also get to see between 25 and 30 other species of birds that call the property home.
From a lifetime of living in Hawaii and decades of working with wildlife, Al is uniquely qualified to discuss wildlife biology and conservation with the folks on his tour.
The air was just crystal clear.
In his own delightful way, of course.
So you got some nene geese and some manakins and some zebra doves and a couple of red-crested cardinals.
Many of the birds you'll see here are introduced from other parts of the world. They include the spotted dove, house finch, myna, mockingbird, the shama thrush, red-crested cardinal, northern cardinal, Japanese white-eye or majiro, red avadavat or strawberry finch, nutmeg manakin, and the introduced barn owl. Our native Hawaiian short-eared owl is called the pueo. Seabirds also lived here, like the wedge-tailed shearwater. And then there's an abundance of jungle fowl, which in Hawaii are called moa. One huge reason why ground nesting birds thrive so well on Kauai is the absence of mongoose. Mongoose are present on all of the other Hawaiian islands and eat lots of birds, their chicks, and eggs.
Right now the nene geese are in the middle of their nesting season. We have roughly 30 nests this year on property, and last count I had 55 goslings running around.
The nene goose is Hawaii's state bird. They were once nearly extinct in the wild and gone from Kauai for many years, but through conservation efforts, their numbers increased and they were reintroduced to Kauai in the 1990s. Though many people think of the nene as dryland birds, they are still geese, and geese do love water too.
We also have gallinules, the common gallinules.
The Hawaiian gallinule is called Ae'o. Ula refers to the color red. Hawaiian legend has it that this bird stole fire from the gods and gave it to the Hawaiian people. In the process, his head was scorched by the flame and he forever wears the colors of fire on his head. A similar looking bird, the Hawaiian coot, is called Ke'o. Ke'o refers to the color white for the color of its beak and forehead. The next native waterbird we saw was the Hawaiian duck called koloa.
Koloa ducks were here all the time. We have roughly 50 to 60 Kaua ducks at any given time, and we should be able to find ducklings no matter where we go.
The black-crowned night heron is called Ae'o. These beautiful big birds are excellent fishers and may amaze you with the large amounts of fish they can catch and eat.
The stilts, we have roughly 15 to 20 stilts on the property. Every so often we'll get a stilt to nest here, but normally they'll be flying mauka to do their nesting on the mauka edge.
It was a great experience to take the wildlife tour with Al Silva at Timbers Kaua.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, try this one.
Al really loves sharing Kauai's wildlife with people.
Seabirds and shorebirds. We'll see most of these guys, and we see a lot of these
And no
guys
sooner
here.
were we done, he was off to do it again.
Okay, we're on our way.
When we return, I'll show you how to draw and paint the Hawaiian Stilt. The Hawaiian stilt, called Ae'o, is an easily recognizable bird. With its dark black and white feathers and long bright pink legs, it can get an elevated view of its habitat as it searches for food. With its long beak, it plucks out its favorite meals, which consist of small crustaceans, mollusks, and fish. Its poetic movements and graceful strides make it a favorite subject of nature photographers and artists. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how I go about drawing the Ae'o. And I'm going to make this Ae'o kind of like stalking, maybe, you know, one leg up and one leg in the water. Kind of like crane, but it's actually stilt. I'll be using a pen so you can see pretty good, but you can use a pencil or whatever you got to draw with, okay? I'm going to start off by pressing softly. How are we going to press? Softly, that's right. We're going to press softly so you don't dig into the paper. So I'm going to put a circle for the head right around here. And the body's going to have kind of like a teardrop oval shape, okay? Tell you what, it's going like that. Now for the legs, I can just start off by kind of making stick legs, okay? They kind of got stick legs. And I'll make one coming kind of there, and there's the little joint right there, like that. Now the other one's going to be above the water, so I'm going to really make it kind of, and then there's the joint there, and then it comes across here, and the foot is going to go around there, okay? They're kind of like, whoa. Yeah. Now the beak will come right around there, and then I'll join the head to the body like that. Yeah, that's pretty good, pretty close. Let's give it a couple more points over here. Maybe a longer, skinnier one there, and then one for the tail. Now let's draw the line between the black part and the white part. And then it kind of comes around like that, and they got a couple cool looking feathers like that over there. And then, you know, down to the wing parts and all right. Now the maka goes right around where the maka goes. It's actually in the black part, okay? There, and then you might have a little part over there, okay? The beak will come inside the face a little bit. Bing, bing. Now I'll put a little bit of rings in the water, like the river's flowing here. Woo, woo, woo. Now when it comes to the legs, I know what you're thinking. Oh man, it's so hard to draw those straight lines, and I got you. It's hard for me too, so I use a secret weapon sometimes. Whoa, chopsticks, yeah. They kind of got chopstick legs, yeah? Well, he's going to have chopstick leg. And I'll put one there. And I'll use it as a guide to get my lines kind of straight, yeah? Okay, and remember, this first part, you are using it just as a guide. And a little bulb right around there, kind of like the drumstick part. Alright, so now I got the Ae'o formed up. I'm going to start using a bigger pen so you can see a little better. And I'm going to use this as a guide, but it doesn't mean I have to follow it exactly, yeah? Okay. Now when it comes to the mouth, I tell you what, I'm going to make him have a little bit of an open mouth. And this way I can actually put a little fish in there. I'm going to put the fish in there first, okay? And the maka. Now I'm going to do that line between the black and the white part. Now in the feathers, you can go ahead and make up the sections of the feathers, okay? I'll give him a little cloud lines in here. And don't forget your signature. And there you have a drawing of an Ae'o. The Ae'o is an elegant bird whose form is well represented in art.
Today I discovered a rainbow while walking along by the sea.
And now I'll show you how I went about painting the Ae'o at Nu'upia Pond.
My beautiful rainbow.
First I drew the scene on paper and then used the graphite transfer technique to get it onto the canvas. Then I began painting the canvas with its first layer of oil paint.
Together we'll live happily.
After the first layer dried, I began painting things from the farthest to the closest, starting with the sky. You can see how I use a special blending technique to get a nice fade of color.
And when the showers come, so much fun.
Then I start painting the mountains and the hills as they get closer and closer.
Sun goes down, she won't feel.
Oil paint takes a long time to dry, which gives you a lot of time to work on these wet blended techniques. And more wet blending, and then some soft brush techniques to make the water look nice and flat. I like to use the corner of a big brush to do a lot of my painting. And do whatever it takes when I need straight lines. I want to work on these wet looking reflections while the paint is still wet. Now it's time to start the ripple effects on this glassy pond. Now I'll have some fun painting this fluffy chick.
Smiling faces as we go. We can climb up the sunset. Over it, let it get us.
The white parts of the Ae'o are a combination of bright white sections and cool shadows. I try and make those feathers look soft. Now I'll work on the Ae'o flying off in the distance. The stilts are named for their long, slender legs, which enable them to get high above the water in search of their prey. If you look carefully, you'll see that their legs have like two raised sections that turn lighter when hit by the sun. To paint these long straight lines, you kinda gotta keep your heart rate down. Then it's time for the white patches on its face, and then start to work on its beautiful red eyes, and followed by a little highlight. Bing! Now I'll have some fun painting the grasses and flowers. And there you have a painting of the Ae'o at Nu'upia Pond, looking from Mokapu Peninsula toward Kaneohe. When we return, we'll join the Ae'o painting party at Timbers Kaua. And now join in on an Ae'o painting class from the owner's lounge at the beautiful Timbers Kaua.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you for being here, and I'll tell you what, we're going to be putting down a lot of color today. We are going to do our Hawaiian Stilt. It's called Ae'o. That's, some are stalking, some are like, standing up a little straighter.
You're gonna just kind of make your own background. Think about what you might like behind your bird, whether it's sky, it could be all water, it could even be all grass.
Okay, I kind of want to do sky and then I want to do water with grass.
And mix when you get your colors, mix plenty, because that's gonna dry fast.
It was a pleasure to paint in such a beautiful place with great food and drinks and people. This kind of paint you can paint over, so your first layer is not your last layer. The skies are lighter down below and darker up above. You can kind of stop at your bird. Your lines are still going to show through. First, we painted our backgrounds, so our birds had a nice place to live. You're going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. Painting is always funner with positive encouragement.
Ooh, I love it.
That'll give you more
color you got
control.
here.
Thank you, Carrie. Love your support.
What do you think is color whatever you like and leave that bird white. It gets darker up above.
Oh, that looks pretty.
The white also adds opacity, yeah? How far do you want to bring your sky down? Right there? Okay, about, let's... There's bound to be some hiccups along the way. You can just blend this color into this. You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just load up so you mix it.
Call the museum.
If you make a mistake, you can always paint over it.
Then we put the wrong color on there.
I'll use that one? Okay.
Come a little closer right
Okay.
here.
Do you think the color palette is suitable? Or you please feel free to lend your mana.
I love his energy.
This is a nice big kind of circle around it. That circle comes back around here. The next step was to fill in the birds with a base coat so that everything got covered with paint.
Ooh, I was going to try some of this. Lucy, I love that.
Around there. Okay. I would go with light blue. I love being surrounded by such nice people and beautiful art. At the end of the class, we had a whole flock of beautiful Ae'o.
Thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. I hope you enjoyed this episode on the Hawaiian Stilt called Ae'o. I'd love to see your artwork, so why don't you send pictures of you and your art to my website at aloha@patrickching.com. Bye-bye.
Ha ha ha!